President William Ruto has answered Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna. Sifuna, in an interview at Mulembe FM, had criticized President William Ruto's affordable housing, claiming that it does not make sense, especially for the rural folks who have an agricultural economy and who find it difficult or impossible to live in story buildings when their lives is based on agriculture, farming, going to the farms. And this is what Sifuna had to say in that particular interview.
Waluya tunajua hatuishi mahali kuku yetu iwezi ingia. Kuku yako itaingia 12 floor bana boss. Sasa hii vitu yote unajengea nani kama unatupiga risasi? Unajenga ati affordable housing. Nilienda Funyula na watu wa Funyula wanajua. Funyula wamejenga affordable housing inaenda 12 floor huko. Sisi Waluya tunajua hatuishi mahali kuku yetu iwezi ingia. Kuku yako itaingia 12 floor bana boss. Number 2, unatupiga risasi.
Well, that first part, very important to note, and it is humorous, although on the surface level it might not make sense to most people. You cannot reject affordable housing because your chickens cannot live up there. But the message, the underlying message is that this idea does not make sense for the rural folks. People have their cows, people have their goats, people have their pigs, people have their chickens. And these chickens are not going to be taken up there. They are not going to live in the 7th floor. They are not going to live in a one building or one bedroom building, or they're not going to live in a bed sitter. That is the underlying message. It is not just about the chicken. It is also about the cows. It is also about the camels. When you build for people in Garissa a 12-story building and you put somebody in the 12th floor, how do you expect his camels to live up there? However, there is a second part to this particular interview that Sifuna had.
Sisi Waluya tunajua hatuishi mahali kuku yetu iwezi. Unajua? Funyula wamejenga affordable yetu iwezi ingia. Kuku yako itaingia 12 floor bana boss. Number 2, unatupiga risasi ati kwa mguu na umetuweka 12 floor. Na hakuna lift kwa hizo nyumba. Unataka tupande na nini tujivurude mpaka 12 floor? Alafu
very important, another second part that is humorously brought out. Remember, during the Gen Z demonstrations, President William Ruto instructed the police to shoot in the legs, to injure and not to kill, to maim and not to kill. And here Sifuna questions that, hey, somebody has been injured. How do you expect him to live in the 12th floor? However, WSR, William Ruto, had a response for that.
Kuna watu ambao wanatueleza ati ya kwamba ati wananchi waendelee kukaa kwa slums ati kwa sababu kuku haiwezi kupandishwa ghorofa ya 15. Hawa ni watu wako na akili kweli? Ni mafala, si mafala wale bana? Mafala sana. Yaani unatuambia ati tusifanye affordable housing kwa sababu kuku haiwezi kupelekwa 17th floor. Yaani mnatubeba ufala kiasi gani, my friends? Mimi niliwaeleza kuna watu hawana akili.
You have heard it there. Ni mafala, si mafala. If you don't get the Swahili language, fala means stupid or brainless. To say it plainly as it is. However, the president has only addressed one issue, the animals part. He has not addressed the issue of people being shot in the legs. And even the one that he has addressed, he has taken it out of context, so to speak. He has trivialized the matter to just an issue about chicken, when we all know it is beyond that, especially for the rural folk. And I doubt if the affordable housing units that have been built in rural areas will get rural folks to live in them. Probably people who are working in the counties might live there, expatriates from other regions or other parts of the country who have been employed in rural counties might get to live there. But the original owners, the original members of the host county might not live there, because it makes no sense to be living up in 12th floor, to live your your good modest house where you get an opportunity to farm, to get your farm products and to raise your animals, to give that up to live in a story building where you cannot do that. it makes no sense, especially for the rural economy.